Welcome, everybody. This is a special one for me. We're ranking the Halloween franchise as it stands today. This is my favorite slasher franchise of all time. Quite possibly one of my favorite horror franchises of all time. I just love this franchise, and I know that it's got a lot of lows. I know that it's got a lot of continuity errors that are just ridiculous. And it's got a lot of timelines that you can just pick your own adventure. But all that being said, the ones that I love. And so we're going to be ranking these. And she has seen the films, but she's going to be just kind of a buffer for me. Like, I'm going to get her random thoughts on it because she's not as well versed in all of it as I am, but she has seen them, and I will be getting her opinions as we go through. By the way, I'm Kevin.
I'm Whitney.
And this is another talkie. I got so excited doing this that I was like, man, let's blow the intro and let's just talk. Let's get into this. There are 13 current Halloween films, and we're going to attempt to rank them today. Now, my ranking is going to change probably, and I'm going to tell you up front, my ranking is not going to match your ranking. I'm going to get about midway through this, and y'all are going to probably turn this video off because you're just like, really, you're nuts, dude. But just hear me out, okay? I'm not ranking this based on what I think is the best. I'm ranking it on my favorite. What would I rather watch? What do I go back and watch more than others? There's a lot of things to consider. There's mood and atmosphere. There's just general excitement. How boring is it? That kind of stuff plays a part in it. So this is how I would rank them as far as my personal interest. And of course, I'm going to be getting my lovely assistant to help me along here. So, coming in dead last in number 13. And I'm going to go ahead and put number 12 here also. Okay? Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 and Rob Zombie's Halloween. I know that Rob Zombie's Halloween's got some fans out there. I know that. But guys, I am sorry. I cannot get behind Rob Zombie's movies at all. I just cannot. Every single horror movie he does, everybody is a disgusting human being. They say the most crass, vile stuff. They have the worst dialogue I've ever heard. And when there's violence being committed, it is mean-spirited all the time. There's hardly a note of humor to be had. I do not like his attitude that these movies bring out at all. I just can't get behind them. I will never accept these movies as part of the franchise. I'll never own them. I do not want to own them. If I ever buy an extended set and it just happens to come with it, it will never leave the case. I'm never watching these movies again. And let me say this, I have watched both versions of these movies. I know especially the first one has a director's cut. Folks, I don't need to see assault happening to a woman to be entertained. To me, that's disgusting. There's a scene where they're breaking Michael Myers out or when Michael Myers breaks out of prison, and they had to show inmates taking advantage of a female prisoner. And I'm just like, why do you need that? Like, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like, just mean-spirited stuff that has no place in a Halloween franchise. I just don't like it. And even in the Rob Zombie's, the first one at the beginning, like the first opening scene, you're in a kitchen scene and these people are saying the most vile things. You got the stepdad saying sexual stuff about the stepdaughter. And why? Just why? So no, I'm drawing the line. That's the last I'm going to mention it. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is number 13, and Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 is number 12. And we're moving on. Sorry if I've caused a few fans there, but I just don't like those movies. Number 11 is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. And right out of the gate, people are going to be like, this because there's no Michael Myers. No, okay? I'm in favor of an anthology. I think maybe from here on out, maybe the right way to go would be give Michael Myers a rest and do something else, okay? But I didn't like the idea as being presented. It's just kooky. It's like you got this guy, he's making these masks for Halloween for these kids to wear. There's a witch and a skull and a pumpkin. That's cool. But his idea is he's going to do these celebration sacrifices for Samhain and for the Halloween series or for the Halloween at nighttime. On Halloween night, they're supposed to watch this program on TV, and you have to have your silver shamrock masks on, and it starts rotting the kids' brains, and snakes start crawling out of their face, and it's just stupid. You got android people in here killing people. You got lasers shooting people in the face, and I'm just like, it's too kooky. It's too sci-fi. It's got nice music. I'll say that. It's got a nice atmosphere, but I just don't like Halloween 3. I can't. And fun fact, Halloween 3 was the first one I ever watched. Like, I was a little kid watching it with some of my family, and they kept saying, "Where's Michael Myers at?" And I didn't know who Michael Myers was. And so I watched from part 3 on before I ever went back and watched the first one. So I was kind of a little perplexed about what was going on, but I fell in love with the franchise. But as for this one, Halloween 3, it sits there at number 11. I just don't like it at all. Number 10, Halloween Resurrection. I know that's at the bottom of a lot of people's list, but you got everything from H2O that was done properly, just completely done away with in this one. Turns out, spoiler alert, by the way, there's going to be spoilers in this. Turns out Michael Myers wasn't decapitated. Jamie Lee Curtis cut the head off of some dude who was an EMT and wasn't smart enough to pull the mask off and be like, "Hey, I know he couldn't talk because he had his larynx crushed, but that doesn't stop you from being able to pull the mask off and be like, 'Hey, I'm not Michael,'" But yeah, Michael walks away in somebody else's clothes, and she decapitates the wrong person, gets in prison, or gets put in a mental institution for it. Michael tracks her down and kills her. And then right out of the gate, that's the first 10-15 minutes of the movie. And after that, we go back to the Myers house, where Busta Rhymes is doing a live internet show called Dangertainment. And we're going to explore the Myers house. And we're going to have Busta Rhymes walking around in Michael's clothes trying to scare people. Oh, but look out, the real Michael's in there, and he's killing people. And we're going to have weird stuff like dolls with nails in the eyes and all these stupid, just stupid. Oh, this movie is so dated. This is one of the worst movies to go back and watch. It irritates me so bad. And then at the end of it, you got Busta Rhymes doing kung fu on Michael Myers. Now, to get out of here, man. You don't do that. And there's even a scene where he's in Michael's face cussing him out, and he's doing "you go back to the garage," blah, blah, blah. And Michael turns around and goes. And I'm just like, Michael would cut your head off. There's no way in the world he would stand there and put up with that. So they really just disrespect Michael Myers. And this movie, it bombed, and it deserved to bomb. This is an awful, awful movie. You have seen Resurrection,
I
right?
have.
What's your opinion? Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. But to me, it was pointless.
Yeah.
So
It was just stupid.
I don't really have much to say about it.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. It really dates this movie because the whole internet thing anyways. I was like, well, that's lame anyways. But then you got everybody walking around with shaky cam, and it is stupid. I hated it. So we're going from number 10. Number 9 is Halloween 5, which when it started marketing was called The Revenge of Michael Myers. And I got beef with this movie, folks. I'm sorry. This is one of the worst masks in the whole franchise, number 1. Number 2, at the end of Halloween 4, Michael gets blasted down into a hole, and he crawls out of the hole wearing a different mask than he just had on at the beginning of 5, and he swims down. He gets carried by the water down to this dude, which he obviously has a harness in his. You can see the harness sticking out of his clothes, and then like he comes up and makes. And there's 2 versions of this, by the way. We'll get into that in a minute. He meets this old hermit and falls into his lap and falls down on a slab of granite that the dude has in his house. Why do you have a slab of granite? I'll tell you why. Because the first guy was supposed to be this witch doctor that had a slab of granite for altars, for an altar for sacrifices, and that's how Michael was originally supposed to come back. But no, we decided we didn't like that. But we're going to keep the slab of granite there, and we're going to turn the witch doctor into just some old hermit who has no idea who this guy is. Michael lays on a slab of stone for a whole year. He doesn't go to the bathroom. He doesn't eat. He doesn't change clothes. This guy doesn't report it to the police. No, he just lays there, and we just skip forward a year later, which, by the way, in Halloween 4, Jamie was 7 years old. In Halloween 5, she's 9. Now explain that to me. Also, Michael gets up a year later, kills this dude just so he can go back to Haddonfield. All of a sudden, Jamie has got this problem where she can't speak, and she's got telekinesis where she can, or telepathy, whatever it's called, where she can link with Michael and find out what he's doing. And Dr. Loomis is walking around like a crazy person. And the part that makes me the most mad, they disrespect Rachel's character. She carried Halloween 4. She was the dominant person taking care of Jamie that whole time and getting her to safety. And they kill her off in 10 minutes in this movie with a pair of scissors right here. And they wanted to shove scissors down her throat. And the actress was like, no, you're not doing that. They stab her here, they kill Rachel, replace her with Tina, the most annoying character in the history of Halloween, and she's carrying most of this movie. And then it's so stupid because then you have it's called The Revenge of Michael Myers, but the police aren't doing anything. And then eventually you find out Dr. Loomis is going to this house that's now a giant mansion. Oh, this mansion doesn't look like the Myers house at all. Why is that? Because the director liked this house. And he's like, I want to use this house now. I can't stand the director of this movie. He ruined it. I'm sorry I'm going off on a tangent here, but this guy just ruined this movie for me. So you have this giant gothic mansion that is now the Myers house, and the police are going to hide out there and set this trap for Michael, and it does no good. Michael gets a cargo net thrown on him, and Dr. Loomis tranquilizes him and beats him with a piece of wood, and presumably dies of a heart attack at the end of it. And that was supposed to be the death of Dr. Loomis, by the way, which I'm glad wasn't, but you've also had this man the entire time walking around town with a trench coat and black hat and a suitcase, blah, 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 and you're like, well, who is this guy? They didn't even know who he was when they were making this movie. They were like, well, let's make some mystery here. Let's throw this random guy in and they can figure it out in part 6. This guy comes in. They got Michael sitting in jail. Michael's sitting in jail. The boogeyman is in jail with his mask still on. Now explain that to me. How is Michael stooping down in front of a water fountain in his cell with his mask on? It's so insane. And this guy shows up, shoots all the cops, and blows Michael's jail cell up and gets him out. And then we have to wait 6 years to find out who the Man in Black was because they didn't want to get their crap together and do a proper sequel. Halloween 5 is an abomination, but it's part of the series that links 2 of my favorites, so I have to include it in my franchise. But this movie has so many problems with it, it makes me sick. The one thing this movie does right, the one thing, there's a scene where Jamie is hiding out from Michael, and she hides in the laundry chute. And Michael is stabbing through the laundry chute trying to get. That's the most exciting scene in this movie, and it's like maybe 2 minutes long. This movie it irritates me. If you can't guess, this movie irritates me to no end, and I cannot get behind it. And yet it sits here at number 9. So number 8, Halloween Ends. Let me say this too: Halloween Ends has about 15 minutes of good footage. You take this movie and just put it at the back of Halloween Kills, cut the 3/4 of this movie out, and put the last 15 minutes at the end of Halloween Kills. That's what should have happened. There was no reason for this movie to be made. There was no reason for this Corey Cunningham character to take up 95% of this movie. Nobody cares. You don't have this random dude just gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna be I'm a victim of the town hates me. I accidentally killed this kid, and so the town hates me. I'm getting bullied by people like the band geeks are bullying this kid. The band geeks are bullying this kid, and then he turns around and has the strength to go in Michael's cave and take his mask from him. Now explain that to me. Are you saying band geeks can beat up Michael Myers? I know he's feeble and old, but this Michael Myers we're talking about. It's so irritating. But the last 15 minutes of this movie are solid. Like when Michael finally shows up and we get the Laurie Michael fight that we've been wanting, that's good stuff. That's what it should have been, and that should have been the end of it. But you know, they have the big procession, and I'm kind of mixed on the procession, but I kind of appreciate, you know, Michael's crowd surfing, he's dead, and everybody's happy to see him go, and they throw him in the shredder. That's cool. I like that. That's final, you know. But everything leading up to that is absolute garbage. I cannot stand Halloween Ends, and that's why it's right here at number 8. Okay, number 7 is one of your favorites of the franchise, Halloween H2O. This is a well-made movie. I will say that. The production value is great. But here's my issues. This movie has the worst Michael Myers in the entire franchise. I don't like his mannerisms. They keep changing the mask. His mask changes mid-scene. He's wearing a different mask up close than he is in the distance. And then there's even a awful CGI mask where they zoom in on him. And I'm just like, what in the name of my underwear is that? It's insane. And so I can't, this movie, it takes me out of it. I will say this. Jamie Lee Curtis is awesome in this movie. This is her best performance, I think, as the character. And there's certain things at the beginning where Michael had the mask from H6 or one similar, and he looked a lot better. And when he's finding out where Laurie was and everything, and starts tracking her down, that was cool, okay? But then when they go to California, it doesn't feel like Halloween anymore. And I think Kevin Williamson, that's been involved with the Scream movies, I think he had a part in this too. The writing or something. And they even use music from Scream in this movie. I'm like, why are you using Scream music? Halloween's got an awesome score on its own. You don't need Scream music. And I've heard people use the comparison of, feels like Michael Myers walked onto the set of Dawson's Creek. I mean, that's kind of what it feels like, because you got Josh Hartnett and Michelle Williams and all these, you know, these really attractive teenage characters, and they're all just like, you know, they're really, everything's got a sheen to it. And, you know, LL Cool J's in this movie for a little bit. That's entertaining while he's telling his sensual stories to his old lady over the phone. That's weird, but, you know, it's something different.
Trying to become a writer.
Yeah. I applaud the man for trying to be a writer. And if this movie had just ended, it would have been fine. But there's a couple of things here, though. They still talk about how Dr. Loomis survived. This Halloween 2 is canon here. So in H2O, it's Halloween 1, Halloween 2, and then Halloween H2O. They skipped everything in between. But Halloween H2O, at the end of it, Michael and Dr. Loomis were burned alive. They blew up in the hospital. If you look at Michael's hands, there's no burn damage, there's no scar tissue, nothing. He's just got a plain hand. He's got eyes. Remember Laurie shot his eyes out in part 2? He's got eyes. So, okay. And Dr. Loomis, they still act like he survived, even though he had passed away. Donald Pleasance passed away by this point. But they still act like his character survived. I'm like, well, just let him die in the fire then, if you're not going to do anything with him, you know. But anyway, H2O, it was very short. It was very to the point. It's an okay watch. I don't mind it. The characters are fine. It's just Michael Myers takes me out of it. I just don't like Michael Myers at all. I will say the coolest part of the movie, the coolest shot. There's a scene where Laurie's got the axe and she's going down the hall and looking for him, and Michael hangs down from a pole from the ceiling. That's cool.
That was creepy.
That was a good moment. And there's a scene where they're in the middle of their fight and she's hiding under school tables, and Michael starts turning the tables over and getting to her. That was cool. And as I understand it, that was supposed to be a scene that they were supposed to shot in a different movie, but they ended up not using it, so they kept the idea. Anyway, of course, Michael gets his head lobbed off at the end of this one, and that was supposed to be the end of it, you know, and they were under the impression that it was the end of it, but They had this little clause that were like, oh, we can't kill Michael Myers off. We're going to make it do the old switcheroo. So, anyways, it puts a stain at the end of this movie to know that that's not where it went. So, anyways, that's where it is here at number 7. Now, number 6 on, we're positive. I like from number 6 on, we're mostly positive about everything. Okay. So at number 6, I've got Halloween 2018, 40 years after the original. Michael Myers is back, and they're doing a transfer, and he's on a bus, and the bus crashes, and he escapes. Here's my problem. Okay, I hate to be negative. In this movie, Jamie Lee Curtis, it's 40 years later. She's Sarah Connor out there with the guns and the shooting mannequins, and she's got all of her arsenal down in the basement. Okay, Michael Myers happened 40 years ago, and according to this continuity, you have erased everything from part 1. Or everything after part 1. So Michael's killed 5 people total right here. 40 years ago. And you're living like the Terminator over here with guns. But at the end of Halloween Kills, your daughter was slaughtered, and what takes place 4 years later, you're just cooking pies and you're, all that kind of stuff, and you're trying to live your best life, blah, blah, blah. Seems to me that would be more traumatizing than something that happened 40 years ago when you just lost your daughter.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. So that's another thing. Sorry to go back to ends, but that bothers me. But in this one, she's living on her own little range. She's got her little gated thing up around her house and all of her mannequins that she practices at. I will say Michael is brutal in this one. I love the mask. The mask is incredible. It looks aged and weathered. It looks really good. And there's a scene where Michael's walking on the streets. Like all the kids are going trick-or-treating, and he's just going house to house, just killing people. Like he goes in this house and he finds a hammer and he goes in and just kills this lady and just goes to the next house and gets this lady with a knife. And it's like, that's what Michael's version of trick-or-treating is. That's creepy.
See, my opinion, I thought it was too much overkill.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean overkill?
Just going to just random houses. Like, I understand if it's people in his house.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I mean, there's certain instances throughout the franchise where Michael would just kill a random person, and it's like, she's not in your way. They're not bothering you. Yeah. Why are you doing that?
To me, that's overkill.
I get it. I do get it. But it's like, you got to think from a psycho's point of view. He could just look and see somebody. He's like, oh, I just need to kill them. Like, something triggers him, So whatever, and I will say that James Jude Courtney, that plays Michael in this 2018 trilogy, does a fantastic job. He is creepy as Michael, and he's big. Like, he's not Tyler Mane big. He's not huge big, but he's big enough to be like super intimidating, and like, you're scared of him. He's a scary Michael. And at the end of this, when he goes to Laurie's house and they have their showdown, and he's trying to bust in, and she like blows 2 of his fingers off with a shotgun, and you can actually hear him like that, like he literally makes a sound. I was like, I like that. I actually like that. And Michael's human enough to make to utter a sound when he's hurt. The one thing that I hate about this movie is the whole switcheroo with the doctor, because you got this doctor who was supposed to be like the next Loomis, and he was all interested in Michael. He was a psychopath who wanted to know what it was like to be Michael. So there's one point where like he stabs Will Patton's character in the neck and like stands up, and he's got the Myers mask on, and he's like doing all this weird twisted stuff, and I'm just like, that took me out of the movie. We don't need another psychopath. We've got Michael Myers. We don't need you. And Michael takes care of him. That's good. He takes care of it in a really, really horrible
There can only be one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was so happy to see that guy go. He was so annoying. But, yeah, aside from that little part, I thought 18 was a really good movie. It harkens back to the original, but with modern day like brutality. Because there's a scene where, the couple that we're doing the documentary stop at the gas station, and the girl goes to the bathroom, and Michael comes in there, and like he had to get his coveralls from somebody, so he killed a couple of the dudes and took one of them's coveralls, and like remember she's in the stall, and like he hands his hand over the stall and like drops the dude's teeth on the floor where he just ripped the dude's jaw off. Like just he's so menacing in this movie, and he gets his mask, and that's what it was all about. He wanted his mask back. So 2018 overall, I really enjoyed. It wasn't perfect, but I had a lot of fun with it. Here's where the rubber meets the road. I'm going to lose some of y'all because my number 5 is the original Halloween. And it's not to say that I have anything against the original Halloween, guys. Okay, this is my personal favorite. This is what I go back and watch. And when I compare Halloween 1 to some of these others that are above it, it's just not as exciting. Halloween 1, from my point of view, because of what I've already experienced, is more boring, I think, than some of the others. Now, I appreciate John Carpenter set the standard here for slashers, and Jason copied them, and so many others copied them, and I'll never take that away. But as far as ranking this franchise, I go back and watch part 1 a lot less frequently than the ones above it on this list. So that's why it's here. The kills weren't all splatter, which they don't need to be. That's not what Michael's really about. And you've got Donald Pleasence giving a great performance as Loomis, telling everybody this guy is a threat. This guy, he's trying to tell everybody, death's coming to your town. You need to listen to me. And, just trying to get people to listen to reason. And you don't know the motivation at this point. There is no Michael and Laurie being brother sister stuff. That was not even established in the first movie. He's just some random guy. And, he stabs his sister when he's 6 years old, and he goes to institution for 15 years and breaks out. And that's it. And he robs a store and gets a mask and a couple of knives and goes on a spree. I don't know why he picked these teenagers out, but he did. And that's what makes it such a mystery. So H1 has a lot of creepy moments. You got Michael standing behind bushes and standing in the laundry. I love that scene. But like overall,
the clothesline.
Yeah, the clothesline. Yeah, that's creepy. Where he's there and just gone. Yep. And see, that's the thing that gives Michael an edge. He's got like a supernatural edge to him. He's like, well, is this guy supernatural? Well, he looks human, but
he appears and disappears all the time,
yeah.
like just out of nowhere. I would have done moved out.
Yeah, it's like he teleports or something. It's crazy. But even so, the guy's superhuman. He can take punishment. So, we'll get into that a little bit later. But, that's what each one I've got set at number 5. And my number 4 right above it is going to aggravate some people because this movie has troubled production. Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. This was the 6th one. There are 2 versions. There's a producer's cut and a theatrical cut. Most people, a lot of the big hardcore fans prefer the producer's cut. I hate the producer's cut. And why do I hate it? Because number 1, they dive a lot more into the cult stuff, which I don't find as fascinating. I think the least you know about Michael, the better. But number 2, they do this whole thing where, he's been chasing Jamie, his niece, for the past several episodes. And then in this one, she's having a baby and she's underage and they're insinuating that Michael's the father. And I'm just like, no, I do not want to picture that. I don't care how you do it. I don't want to picture that.
Incest at its best.
Yeah. And so that's what So, I don't watch the producer's cut. I like the theatrical cut. My problem with the theatrical cut is that Donald Pleasence's screen time was cut down to like 7 minutes. And Dr. Loomis is the star of this franchise. He was awesome. For the first several movies, it was all about Loomis and Michael. And Donald Pleasence passed away before this movie even finished. So that's the sad part of it.
He was had to be infatuated with Michael.
Yeah, he's just so trying
to figure
his
out
whole
why.
life. Yeah, just from 78 on, he was just that was his life, was trying to stop Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 1995, Donald Pleasence passed away, which it broke my heart. But in this movie, you got a guy named George P. Wilbur playing Michael for most of it, and then the last half of it, A. Michael Lerner's playing him. But Michael looks great in this one. They changed the jumpsuit up a little bit. It's more gray, and Michael's mask looks like it's almost like made of like stone. It's just like it's really just creepy looking, and they do such a good job with the lighting. This movie is set in it came out in '95. And they had to, of course, tell everything that happened with the Man in Black from part five. But this one, I really like the atmosphere here. It's like it actually feels like fall, and you've got great chase scenes. You've got Michael's brutal in this one, but it's not so much that it's distasteful to watch. Like it's just it's you're afraid. It's creepy. Michael's creepy in this.
Keeps you on edge.
Yeah, it does. It keeps you on edge. The score is great. They incorporate like electric guitar into the theme, and they just make it really 90s. And I love watching it because it takes me back to being 13, 14 years old and just loving this.
A lot of nostalgia.
Yeah, a lot of nostalgia. That's one of the reasons why this one's up so high, because I know it's got problems, but I love it. Paul Rudd is great in this movie, and people can say what they want. I mean, he's a little wooden in his performance, but it works for his character. His character's messed up because of dealing with Michael and everything. So, he's out to save this baby it's not even his. He saw it and rescued it. So overall, it's a great movie. Like it's got tons of problems, and if you look at Rotten Tomatoes, this movie's garbage. But I enjoy it. I love it. It gives me a thrill. It puts me in that mood for Halloween, and not all of them do that. So that's why it sits here at number 4. At number 3, we're going Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers. Now, if I had to say one movie above all the others gets the tone right, it's this one. This one they open with like just the ambient music, and like you get the leaves, and you get the where it's been raining, and like you get all the Halloween decorations and the farm equipment and everything. They really set the rural setting just in the opening scene. It's just creepy. It just sets this tone, this mood. And Michael, I hate the mask that they use here, but I love that Michael is so robotic and slow moving. It makes him more creepy. And, you can look at, like, there's a scene where Rachel's looking for Jamie and she can't find him. And she looks down this dark alley where there's all this fog and mist. And you see Michael just standing in the fog, and he starts walking. And it's just, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
I love that. There's really good chase scenes here. And there's a scene where Rachel and Jamie they're locked in their house, and Michael's been in the house with them the whole time. And he took the cop out and took their friends out. And so now they're on the roof, and Michael's chasing them on the roof. And then there's later on where Michael's on the back of a pickup truck taking dudes out, and Rachel's having to drive the truck, and Michael's reaching in and grabbing her, and it's terrifying. This movie has a lot of really good moments in it, and some really solid kills. Michael impales a girl with a shotgun. Stabs her to the wall. That was cool. There's a scene where, like, in the truck, when there's a dude named Earl, him and his redneck buddies have been trying to help the cops and everything. Well, Michael dispatches of them on the back of the truck, and Earl's just driving. He's like, what's going on? And there's a scene where Michael busts through the glass, and he grabs Earl right here and just rips his throat out. And I was like, oh! And as I was watching this, I was watching some reviews about it, and apparently Mustafa Akkad, that was a producer, was like, yeah, we need a little bit more gore and more blood or something. And so they threw this in. It was like a last-minute addition. And I'm glad, because this movie's great. There's one scene where, and it's infamous. Everybody knows what it is. There's a scene where Jamie and Dr. Loomis are in the school hiding out, which is funny because he shoots the chain off the door and goes in, and it's ringing alarms. So I'm like, Michael's going to know you're there, but whatever. So they go in there, and they're walking down the hall looking for some place to hide. And there's a scene where Michael just steps out, and he's wearing a pink mask with blonde hair. And when I was watching the documentary about it, they said, well, it was well into the night. And we're just like, well, we'll just fix it in post-production. They act like they didn't notice. And I was like, you would think one person on set would be like, what's up with that mask? Doesn't look quite right.
I
But
don't remember that part.
well, I will say this. Depending on, I don't have it on Blu-ray or 4K. I've just got a DVD copy of it. But like if you can't really tell on my copy. Like
Okay.
it's so quick, it's not as noticeable. But I'm sure if you watch it on 4K, it probably sticks out like a sore thumb.
Okay.
But so I just tune that out and just act like it's a lighting issue. That's all.
I didn't see that.
Nope, didn't see it at all. So that's how I justify it. But in the end, Halloween 4, man, it's my number 3, and I love that so much. And again, I'm going to be controversial here, process of elimination. Number 2 is Halloween Kills. I will say right off the bat, I know what you're going to say. Evil dies tonight. Everybody chants that because they get the whole hospital up in an uproar because they're chasing after this guy that clearly isn't Michael, but they think it's Michael, and all of that. Okay, I don't care about that. I can fast forward through that and still love this movie because Michael Myers is brutal in this movie, and he is scary as crap. There's a scene where Lindsay and Marion and their 2 friends pull up in the park, and they're in their SUV.
Yeah.
Oh, it's scary. And like Michael, he's up on the roof, and he's like banging the glass and making her waste all of her bullets. And then like the way he takes everybody out, like he takes Marion out, and then the dude tries to choke him from the back seat, and then he just jams a knife in his eye and kills him that way. And then his girlfriend's outside with a Desert Eagle just shooting at it, and he kicks the door and makes her shoot herself. And I was like, that's awesome. That's just brutal, man. And then Lindsay comes up with like a bag of bricks and starts banging him in the face, and he chases her, and the chase scene is so cool because she's having to hide out, and you're just hoping that she just doesn't breathe the wrong way because Michael's just like, he's so quiet and just watching everything, and they drag this out so quietly, and the tension builds. And there's a scene where they go back to the Myers house, and you have a gay couple living there, Big John and Little John.
Yeah.
And and when Michael comes back home, the way he takes these dudes out, I mean, he just jams his thumbs in Big John's eyes, and his eyes come out. I was like, ooh.
And then sets the scene.
Yeah. And he stabs him in the armpit. I'm like, oh, stop.
Yeah.
But then
Stab me in my heart, make it quick.
Yeah. And like she said, he stages them up to where one's laying in the other one's lap and for them to get found, And the way they dispatch of Cameron on the stairs, just ramming his head over and over.
Yeah.
And it was so rough. And then when Allison's leg's been broken at the bottom of the steps, and Michael's about to stab her, and her mom comes up with the pitchfork and gets him. I'm just like, yeah, now finish the job, but they never do, But then she takes his mask off and runs with it, and he chases her, and then you have the mob beat down, and everybody's like, all the police show up, or there's one cop there, but all the townspeople show up, and they got baseball bats.
Taking their whacks at him.
Yeah, and they're just beating him, And one dude's got a gun and shoots him a few times and stuff, and you're like, well, this is only the second movie in this trilogy. There's going to be a third one, right? It looks like they're killing him. And then Karen comes up and she stabs Michael in the back right here and leaves the knife. And then he takes the knife and just starts killing everybody. And I was like, oh.
The up close in this, where they got him, in the middle.
Yeah.
The up close scenes where they show all the details. It was pretty neat.
Yeah. He's stabbing this dude here and this dude here, and showing how he's just dispatching of the whole mob. And then at the end of it, he takes the baseball bat to Tommy and just like that. And then if you watch the extended cut, he takes the splintered bat and just jams it. And it's brutal, man. And I mean, I love Michael Myers, and I love Michael Myers in this movie. And there's even a scene where, you remember the scene where Michael goes to the old couple's house, and he takes a fluorescent light bulb to the lady's throat. And then like he takes the dude and puts him up on the countertop, and just knife after knife. And he looks like a little kid because he'll stab it, and then he'll just look for a minute, and then he'll grab another one, and he's just looking for the right knife, and then he just walks out with the last knife. Oh, it's creepy as can be.
To me, that was overkill too.
It was overkill, but I appreciated it because it happened from a distance, and you're getting to see Michael's mentality because he's like a little kid at play, and I really appreciated that little detail.
Kind of took it back to where when it all started.
Yeah, exactly. What his mind is, And there's some good moments, which Will Patton's character of Frank should have died in the first one because he got stabbed in the throat and then run over by a car. But he survived because he was too much of a good character. And there's some good moments with him and Laurie talking in their hospital room.
Yeah.
And that was really important for the movie, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But the best part of this movie, of the entire movie, was the opening where they go back to 1978 and you see the classic Michael mask. And Frank's one of the younger cops there, and they're trying to take Michael down. And the color, the atmosphere, the way that they lit the thing looked straight out of 1978. I mean, it perfect. And Michael's mask looks just like the other one. And then they have a guy, Tom Jones Jr., who's actually the son of the singer Tom Jones, plays Dr. Loomis, and they did the makeup, and he looks perfect. I mean, it was just like. He's like, did Michael kill again? Like, he actually sounds like Loomis. And then there's a scene where they pan out and Michael's standing there and he's surrounded by cops. And that's how the movie opens. And it was just like, that's brilliant. I loved it. And I wish they would have done more with that. But Halloween Kills has a lot of problems with it, but I have so much fun with it. It's the best, at least the top 2 Michael Myers performances in the entire thing. But if you guys know anything about me, my number 1 is Halloween 2. I know that a lot of people say it's inferior. John Carpenter called it an abomination. I do not care. Halloween 2, I feel like, is a better movie. It's a more fun movie than Halloween 1. And Dick Warlock plays Michael in this one, using the same mask from the original movie, but it sits differently on him, and it's all stained and stuff. And it just looks creepy. This is the creepiest Myers. And he only stands 5'9" or 5'10". He's a short guy. But if you got Michael lifting people up with a scalpel and he's that small, it's scary. Like that, he's superhuman, And so that's what makes this movie so menacing. Michael's slow, very slow moving, and there's a scene where she's been taken to the hospital after the first movie, and she's hiding in the car. And she gets out and she decides to go in and get help. And she sees Dr. Loomis and them pull up. And she waits till they shut the door to scream. I don't know why. But then when she's limping in, Michael's somewhere. And he steps out from under this red light. Oh, and it's creepy.
That's creepy.
And he starts slowly walking towards her. And then you've got your big finale building up. And there's also a scene where one of the nurses goes looking for the doctor because Laurie had an allergic reaction to something or whatever. And so she's like, Dr. Mixter, where you at? And she finds Dr. Mixter, he's dead in his chair, and he's got like a needle in his eyeball or something. And like she's backing up, and like the light shines back here just a little. There's a red light, and you can see Michael back behind her, and you're like, oh, you're toast. It's over. Stuff like that just sets the mood for this movie. And we come out in 1981, which is the year I was born. And it has that tone. It has that time. It's just etched in this movie. And the way that the movie plays out, it's a slow burn. It's not always in your face. But a lot of people may think it's boring, but I think it really amps up the carnage. There's a car crash in this movie where they bump into Ben Tramer, and he's wearing the similar Michael mask, and Loomis thinks it's him, and it's really just some drunk kid, and a cop hits him and then crashes into a bus, and it's this fiery explosion. And it happens right in front of you. Like, how did they stage that? Like, he's hitting this kid and he slides across and then boom. I was like, man, that was some incredible stunt work. And I will say at the end of it, like when it first happens, you see the dummy fall down like this. And then when they zoom in on him, he's back up like that. And I'm like, well, which one was it? That took me out a little bit. But, and then you can't talk about this movie without the finale because you've got Michael. He's walked through the glass, he's killed the guard, and now he's after Loomis and Laurie, and they're hiding out in the last possible room that they can get to, this operating room or whatever it is, and he starts, she shoots Michael's eyes out, and he's in there just doing this, trying to get to whoever he can get to.
Slashing.
Yeah, and they start turning on all the oxygen, blah, 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 and he's like, get out of here, whatever. And he lights the room on fire, big explosion. Michael comes out engulfed in flame. And I'm telling you, and you can tell that the guy's wearing padding. Dick Warlock has told me, or not told me, but I've seen several interviews of him talking about this stunt. And he said, he's told everybody, we've done this stunt 2 or 3 times. But he said, he was completely engulfed in flame, and like he had like zippers right here, and like it was melting his skin right there, like he got burns right there. But he said aside from that, like it didn't hurt him to do, but it's just 100% engulfed in flame. You can barely tell there's a dude in that fire. I mean, it's just, and he falls down, and that was supposed to be the end of Michael Myers, but part 3 didn't have Myers, and they bombed. So they're like, well, you got to bring him back and forth. So Halloween 2, as far as I'm concerned, sits right here at the top of the pile, being the #1 Halloween movie in the franchise, just because I love it. This is based off my personal opinions, and she hasn't officially ranked them, but we talked about it. She kind of agrees with a lot of it. I think she would have changed H2O a little bit and put it higher up.
Yeah.
But we both agreed on a lot of the lower ones are just not very good. But I know if you look at the numbers, there's a lot worse movies than there are good movies, but the good movies are really good to me, and so that's why I ranked them the way that I did. That's my ranking for the Halloween franchise, my #1 slasher franchise of all time. I know this has been a little bit long. I got a little long-winded, but I get overly happy when I get to talk about things that mean a lot to me. I'm glad you were here with me on this adventure. I'm glad you guys were with me. Hit that subscribe button and join the family here. Hit that like if you liked it, and share it across your social media. Tell your friends about us. Like I say, we're not getting paid for this. We're just doing this for fun. Obviously, I've spent the last 46 minutes talking about something that I could clearly cover in a lot less time. But I'm passionate about it, and I appreciate you guys sticking with me. So we love you, and on the next one, we'll talk at you then. Until then, guys, keep smiling. We'll see you.
Bye.